The main moonshot right now that has captivated my time and attention has been in the cannabis space. And it's been around the notion of what if we could take cannabis out of the shadows into the light? And more specifically, what if we could normalize cannabis and the way that we as society think about cannabis and really embrace the power and potential of this plant? There's so much opportunity, and particularly if you think of what this could do to reduce incarceration in the US alone, and helping, really being a force towards creating a more equitable and equal society. It's a huge thing. It's not often that business has the power to affect such significant social change, but I fundamentally believe that by normalizing cannabis, we can help do that. Secondly, I think it can remind people about the power of nature to help relieve pain, to provide medicine, and specifically the fact that there are so many plant-based solutions out there, which in many cases are way better than the solutions offered by big pharma. And I think opening that up and having people consider that can really change things fundamentally. And finally, I think changing perceptions and letting people see what their own creative and potential is, often not even knowing what that potential is. I think cannabis has as a plant, has this wondrous ability to do that and to truly open up thinking. It's kind of a conduit between left and right brain thinking in many ways. I've only been in the industry for just over a year, but I've been observing the industry and the cannabis space at large for a long time, and I think there hasn't been one key turning point. This has been, cannabis has a very long history, and I think especially in the last decades, the fight against prohibition of cannabis has had many significant moments, a lot of people and organizations that have fought really hard to end prohibition. So I wouldn't say that, from my perspective, it's been one moment. I think in 1995 with Prop 215 in California and it becoming medically legal in a state this size, that's a pivotal moment. More recently, and for me, more acutely, it was California turning into a recreational market a year and a half ago. I was living in New York at the time and coming back to California and seeing billboards openly communicating the availability of cannabis, to me, seemed like a real turning point. I don't think it's gonna go back. Cannabis has been around for thousands of years. Obviously, it's been used for thousands of years across societies all over the world and cultures. In the States alone, it's estimated to be a $50 billion illicit market. And I think having this market come into a legitimate space and people knowing what they're getting and where it's coming from and what the beneficial powers of this plant are is huge. And I don't think that that's going to turn back again. So to me, the last year and a half, 2 years have really been a tipping point. Longer term, I think about what is it that I would want my children to look back at me on and think about. And my advice would be brave. Fortune benefits the bold. And I think that you need to be a little bit bold and pioneering to get into this space in particular right now. But you have to do it with a belief, and you have to believe that you're doing it for a reason and that this is working towards a good outcome. So my advice as an entrepreneur and somebody who specifically has spent a lot of time building brands in that space is be brave, be bold. And I think especially in the future, it's going to be extremely important for people to find their own conviction and to do what they truly believe in. And I fundamentally believe that those who are brave and bold are the ones that make change happen.